Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays.
Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats. Good to see a few of the early birds are up and at it. Anna Marie, good morning to you. Bunty's in the house as well. Thanks for joining us this morning. Great to have you here while we're warming up the live stream and things are happening. Do the quick intros and bibs and bobs. If you don't already know, most of you do know though, but that's my name, Jason Witten. Wealth Coffee Chats. We've been connecting every morning for many years now about the world of investing. Property investing is our main gig here. I've been a property investor for well over 20 years, actually 25 years now, trying to make myself sound younger. You know, when you're a bit younger, you try to make yourself sound a bit older, and then you get a bit older and you want to make yourself sound a bit younger. Anyway, stay on track, Jason. This morning, we've got a bit of a guest, folks, coming to join me in a moment, so make sure you hang around. I'm going to talk about politics. Now, I think politics sometimes is a pain in the ass, a bit boring, but whether you like it or not, we need to understand what's going on, especially when it comes to the world of property investing, folks. So hang around for that while we get things warmed up and get our skates on. Good morning, Tim. Good to see you here, mate. Thanks for joining this morning also. All right, folks. Well, let's not muck around. Let's get our guest up this morning. Andy Fenton is our guest this morning. He's taken the time to fly all the way to Queensland. We're going to hang out a bit later on today, but I thought we might have a little conversation about the upcoming election. Fenton, good morning.
Good morning, James.
Maybe we should be having some wine, but there you go.
It's Monday mornings, although having said that, talking about elections does make you want to drink, doesn't it?
That is true.
It used to be in the day that people used to win elections, but it seems to be these days that they lose them. The narrative has gone from let's figure out some great policies in order to present them to the Australian public and let's blow their minds by the amazing things that we're going to do to help this country. Unfortunately, nowadays it seems to be a bit more of the discrediting game of what seems to be pretty mediocre policies. I'm not sure if you watched the last debate, mate. I'm pretty sure you did. But it was the kind of stuff that could put amphetamine freaks to sleep, I think.
Pretty average conversations all up, that's for sure. Well, it's a sad state of affairs. Election time's coming up, mate. At Positive, we're all mad about property. You know the drill. You've been working with us and many of our clients for many, many years now. You and I talk about, the number one menace when it comes to the world of our wealth, politicians. They change the rules all the time. You, me, our clients spend, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of focus on putting plans together. Then the politicians just decide they're going to change the rules and fuck it up, basically, often. Mate, I might talk about the supply chain when it comes to the world of property investing and property delivery, but what is on the radar for people when it comes to the world of wealth? What have you heard in the grapevine? And, it doesn't matter which political party gets in. They all fuck with the world of our wealth. Mate, what do you got for people?
Well, they touched on the normal meanies, right? And let's face it, I think that the budget was a waste of paper. And if they do have any brains, of which I'm sure that they do, they're probably waiting to bring out a few surprises, which they've sort of been teetering on the edge of. They brought up the old negative gearing concept again, but I think this election, neither of them are going to do anything, or neither the Libs or the Labor are going to do anything major as far as announcements going into the election, because neither of them want to lose it. Right, so nobody's trying to win, and that's the game of politics right now. Neither of them want to lose, so they don't want to say anything to upset any party. They're trying to sit on the fence as much as humanly possible.
So the old adage of negative gearing and capital gains tax, waving that around often. Usually, I remember last time Labor was dusting that one off in 2016-17, and along with that and the APRA investigation absolutely tanked the property market, but they're quiet on that one this time, aren't they?
Well, they are, other than pointing guns at each other, right? So during the debates, the gun was definitely pointed at Albanese, and Albanese fired it straight back, basically saying that, this was a Costello policy, and Costello, was blaming, the previous Liberal arrangements that led to the property boom. And so neither of them are right. I mean, we know what it is. It's basic fundamentals of inflation, which is supply demand. And when we were doing our analysis as well, and having a look at what the biggest expense to property is and it's actually the government, but it's all of the pre-tax and excises that go along the way, which is pounding out. But I'll leave that one for you. Like, honestly, if they actually wanted to do something to influence the property market out here, then probably what they would do is just start to cut down some of the bureaucracy and red tape, and that would be a significant expense as far as property is concerned. But outside of that, I think that really the election's not doing much as far as investing is concerned. It's more what's going on everywhere else in the world. It's more the Trump effect, the tariff effect, what's going to happen over here. And I guess it's almost something that we can look at from a political perspective, because like Trump's doing some crazy stuff. Like, love him, hate him, either which way. Like, who knows? I don't know what he's doing.
He's stirring the pot, that's for sure. How's that landing for Australians?
Well, nobody really knows, because he brings in these outrageous policies on these tariffs, and then he repeals them, and then he brings them back on the cards, and he's waving in and out of bringing in these outrageous policies, and then public opinion goes a little bit too far. He repeals them a little bit. So financial markets are just going to be quite volatile while they're trying to figure out what in the hell is actually happening with Trump. Meanwhile, here in Australia, they don't seem to really give two shits as to whether it's the Libs, Labor, or anybody else. But one thing that I will say is that in history and politics, when you look back at when there's been major changes politically, it's generally been a Tea Party that's got it in, like a little bit of an outside party that's somehow managed to gain some power. Easier to do in the States in some ways than what it is here. But what we've seen, if you look at policy, there's not a huge amount of policy that's come from Liberal or Labor. When you look at independents, and dare I say it, Pauline Hanson, like, I've had a few of these conversations recently, and they've been pretty unpopular, especially when you bring up Pauline's name with some people. But there's been some interesting policies touted around by the independents, by these other parties. And one of the ones which I really enjoyed was, well, if you're in a high-income family but only one of you is working, well, maybe we have a joint system whereby your tax rate gets spread across two investors, or two people rather than one.
Yeah.
So, if one of you is out there working. And so I think it's ideas that different types of policies rather than the way that we've always done things are the things that Australians should be looking for, and they shouldn't be scared of them. They should be looking for them, because one thing that we've definitely seen is that same old just brings us the same old results. And if you love it, great, stay with it. But I think most of us are getting a bit sick and tired of it.
Bit long in the tooth. Well, you know, at the end of the day, you know, especially for property and Australian, you know, supply chain systems for new real estate, that is in all sorts, and any of the suggestions, policies, or conversations from any of the parties have they're not going to fix fucking anything. Like, they're, as a matter of fact, all of the policies have made it, or looking to make it worse. More demand, and fuck all to do with the supply. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's
they've helped American investment banks make an absolute fortune.
Well, you and I have talked about this. We talked about it a while ago when we were, trying to give the wine industry some support on Fridays. But you know, they changed the rules. They changed the tax laws to support international big businesses coming into Australia to buy Australian real estate. What a joke! Aussies didn't realise this, and I this is the challenge, the issue. You know, they changed the land tax laws so billion-dollar companies from overseas can come in and buy up all the supply in places, the density, and then do build to rent properties that aren't even owned by Australian fucking companies. Now that is ludicrous, as far as I'm concerned. And then, you know, kick the local investors, your mum and dad investors, in the face, basically. You know, we'll put your land tax up, but we won't fucking charge land tax to BlackRock to come to Australia and own properties. What a joke!
It's 15 years to build them, 15 years to turn dirt. Like it basically means they can hold real estate without any taxes, so they can basically land bank for themselves under the guise that they're going to produce more properties. And this was the other thing that was pushed around. You would have seen a lot of it throughout the election, was how many people are actually in houses based on the build to rent scheme. There were two things. There was how many people are actually, after 4 years of doing this shit, how many people are actually in the houses based on government housing production?
Yeah, fuck all.
Apparently it wasn't even one person. So 3-4 years and not even one person is living in them. Mate, I reckon there's a few people who know bugger all about property who'd be able to do a better job than that.
Oh, mate.
And the other one was when I was watching Four Corners, and was it Albo or was it the Treasurer? I can't remember. And they're saying, so how many houses were built by you under this? Well, X amount of houses were built. No. How many houses were built by you? Well, they had to be built in order for them to exist, didn't they? And I'm like, oh. And they've gone, no, how many houses were constructed by the government? And the answer was very few. But they were saying 340 homes, which is still fuck all. Like, it's still bugger all.
It's
like,
not.
Jesus, Jace, if you and I wanted to go out tomorrow and have a dip at doing this stuff, we would do a hell of a lot more than that in 4 years, without billions of dollars worth of funding as well.
Billions of dollars worth of funding, tax incentives, you name it. It's a disgrace, and it is one of the issues that, to be honest, it's playing a little bit of it's taken a little bit of the limelight, but not as much as I would have thought it would have taken. But you know, each of the major parties talking about giving money away like drunken sailors again to, you know, first home buyers and whatever. Now that's all good and well, but again, it's handouts, not fixes, and that's the policy shit.
And this is the game of not losing an election versus the game of winning an election.
Yeah. No spine, no vision for the future. You know, it's disappointing. But listen,
do you want to know something funny? Like, it's a little bit off topic, but it's definitely on politics. I was listening to a Tony Robbins thing the other day, and he was talking about the leaders of America, and he was talking about how, you know, do they look nice, right? Do they look nice? Are they aesthetically pleasing? And they said Clinton, yes. Everyone put up their hand, said yes. He said Bush, not so many people. Gore, even less people. And they said, well, who sounds attractive, right? So who sounds their part. And so anyway, they went through this test and then they said, well, who do you feel actually will do what they say that they are going to do and actually get the job done? Who makes you feel good? And then who sounds congruent, like they're actually fully legit. And as I was going through them, and even though everybody brought up in America probably didn't deserve the badge other than sounding aesthetically pleasing and looking aesthetically pleasing, and I was thinking, Jesus, when you look at Australian politics, how do we vote for any of them?
if you're looking on the look, well, there you go.
The look, the sound, the feel, and the congruency. You just
go. We're calling what's his name, Dutton Voldemort,
and the Emperor.
There you go. Well, listen, hey, what are you doing up here in Queensland? What's going on this Friday?
Second
of May.
For business owners, well, the election's obviously on Saturday, which is which I'm pretty sure it's the 3rd. Is it the 3rd? Yep, Saturday's the 3rd. So I've already voted before I came up here. I had to have a shower afterwards, and but for business owners, you and I are hanging out on Friday. We've got the Freedom Machine coming up. Never is it more important to figure out how to minimize your taxes because they're going up. And even when they're not going up, team, they're going up by inflation. Okay. So whenever they don't give you a tax cut in a year, you're actually paying more taxes because the price of milk went up from $1.50 to $2 and petrol went up, so on and so forth. So we're going to be running a session over 4 hours to teach business owners how to
business
minimize.
Owners and sophisticated investors, those who are worth $3 million or more. Yep.
Taking you through a masterclass for 4 hours. We're going to try and do 3 hours worth of content and then spend a bit of time yapping away with you guys and answering all of your questions. Sometimes we go a little bit overtime for those of you who know us, but join us on the Freedom Machine. We'll see if we can drop a link in here or into the various different chats of how you can register if you're not already. But we're going to hang out for 4 hours, talk all things tax minimization, teach you how to protect your investments, how to structure yourself, how to run your bank accounts, how to limit your liabilities, and for the liabilities that you do have that are attached to assets like property, how do you can make sure that you're not at risk of a bank doing you over or, just a random event that happens in life. These unfortunate things happen. I've had a few happen to me recently. And sometimes they've got really nothing to do with you, but they come along and you just want to make sure that you're protected. So we say it's minimize your tax, accelerate your wealth, and make sure that you're protected on the journey. So we're going to spend a good 4 hours riffing through our models of and systems, our 120-point checklist of exactly how to keep you safe, keep more in your pocket, and ultimately help you win the game of business and win the game of wealth. So, mate, looking forward to hanging out and spending time with a good crew of our investors and business owners from around Australia and trying to make sure that regardless of which government comes in, you can set yourself up for success in the best way possible.
I've put the link in the chat, folks, if you're up for spending a few hours with us. And Eddie, folks, it has been a pretty vicious few years for business owners. The record, and it's records we don't want to be breaking, record number of liquidations, the highest number of liquidations for Australian construction companies or building companies ever in Australia's history. Last year, over 2,600 businesses went into liquidation. Ludicrous, and part of the strategies that we teach business owners and sophisticated investors is to structure themselves well, that if something goes wrong, not of their making, they can protect themselves and their family, along with the way to build their wealth pretty significantly in some of the strategies we put together. So if you're up for it, folks, the link is in the chat. We'd love to see you there. Come along and hang out with us for a few hours, and we'll tell a few more stories, but hopefully share a little bit of our experiences. The other part, folks, the Property Summit's coming up real soon. I'll leave you guys with a video. You would have received multiple emails, text messages. Go register. We're at about 120 people. We've only got 200 seats. There's 4-5 weeks until the Property Summit. There's only 200 seats, folks. They're filling up real fast. So if you're planning on coming along, don't muck around. Get yourself sorted. We are running a little bit of a prelude with that, with our on-ramp and exit plan stuff on the back of Freedom Machine. So for those who know, you know. But listen, folks, there you go. That's it from Andy and I today. Remember, join us tomorrow if you're up for it. Link is in the chat. I think that's about it. Andy, mate, whoever you vote for, it's not going to change the property game in Australia. So make sure you be conscious
just be conscious about what you're voting for. I was in the voting line of the absentee votes or the early votes, and I was listening to the conversations, and some people said, I don't even know what I'm voting for anymore. And I'm like, that's a fair call. But at the end of the day, it's on you to start to listen. And, sometimes we need to reset. We were talking about this last night, Jay. Sometimes we need to reset the random access hardware that's in our brain. And what I mean by that is that there's sort of your deep conscious, which stores all of your memories, the long-term memories, and every now and again you bring them to the front of mind. There's also this RAM, this random access memory that's constantly circulating. And it has all of these preconceived ideas over who Labor is, preconceived ideas over who Pauline Hanson is, who the independents are, who Libs are, so on and so forth. And I reckon it's about time that all of us format that, because if you've got any beliefs that these parties are the same as what they were 10, 15, 20 years ago, then you're sadly mistaken, because they are a shadow of what they were once upon a time. And it's probably worth having a look at the political landscape with a new lens, and removing any previous conceptions of what you think that you believe, because the reality is probably very, very different. So make sure that you have a little bit of a look around and just open your eyes to what's actually going on. That's probably the best advice I could give you.
There you go. All right. Well, folks, that's it from us. Good to hang out and see you guys. Thanks for joining us this morning, Andy. And I'll leave you with a Property Summit pump-up video. But that's it from us, folks. Take care. Bye for now.
All right, this is going to be fun. Who has played the property game before? Who has been in the game? Who's never played the property game before? Oh, you're in for a treat. Who likes Monopoly? Did anyone like Monopoly when they were a kid? Well, this is Monopoly in real life in this room. Every hour or so, you guys are going to be up and you're going to be running around the room like maniacs trying to play the property game and win the property game.
Today, I wanted to share the lessons, the mistakes, and the wins.
I want everybody to put up their hands who knows their interest rates on all their loans right now.
If you haven't seen me around before, like 13 years in the industry, in property management specifically.
Who likes paying tax? If you need help finding somewhere to donate, I'm sure I can find somewhere else where it can go.
No, we've got an expression in that, let's go and make new mistakes in the world. Who wants to make new mistakes?
These are just strategic moves that can make such a big difference.
So obviously buy well, never sell. Definitely the majority of what everyone's looking to do is collect some A-grade assets, B-grade assets, whatever it might be.
I loved the idea of being a property investor and developing that identity.
Collectively, they have way more years experience in everything that you think you're trying to solve, because they do it every single day.